Hi friends, and welcome to Starry Hilder's off-grid homestead. There it is, the little off-grid homestead. And if you are new to the channel, I want to welcome you, friends. If you haven't already gone through a lot of the videos, you will see we live in the mountains with a great view, as close to the basics as possible. And believe it or not, we have a pretty modern homestead. You know, just because you're going off the grid and you want to get back to the basics, it doesn't mean you have to live in a shack or a cave or eat twigs. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about what off-grid is. And for us, it really is about self-sustainability and getting our hands dirty and creating and producing. You can hear the chickens in the background. We have chickens. Just simply because, and there's a reason why I started with my intro and kind of introduced myself. There are a lot of new people, and they've been asking a lot of questions about us living off the grid and our self-sustainable lifestyle. And the questions are really good questions. Because I'm not a fast typer, and I really felt it was important that you hear it from me. And I do talk for Mr. Hilder because, you know, I'm the wife, so you can hear it from him. But for the most part, I'm going to answer some of those questions that many people have been asking. So the next question we always get is, Starry, you've got a beautiful garden. Do you live off of your garden solely? So as I just said, we do go to the grocery store. And the grocery store does serve its purpose. Now, when you're setting up your homestead, if you've seen my videos, you will know we have a stocked pantry. I take a lot of my garden spoils and I can them. I believe heavily in canning. That is the #1 skill, I think, overall, that everybody should have, is the knowledge of canning. Because if no freezer, no refrigeration, canning is going to save you. So we do take a lot of our produce, and we dehydrate, and we can. And as you know, we also hunt and we fish, and we can all of that also. The grocery store, yes, we buy in bulk. You've seen some of our videos where we buy in bulk and we stock up that pantry. And I can even those things. And then we store them in food grade containers. So it cuts down on running to the store. It cuts down on our food bill, because when you buy in bulk, that initial upfront purchase may seem like it's costing you a lot, say $500-600, but over time it's like dollar cost averaging. And when you buy in bulk, things are going to be less. They charge less, and then you get discounts. So buying in bulk really is a key tip to remaining financially free and debt free. You have to be smart about all of this stuff. You got to be smart about your purchases. You got to be smart about having a pantry and being prepared. So yes, we do almost live off the garden, but we're running to the grocery store for items, and it's not unheard of. And you will be too. But again, if the grocery store shuts its doors, we're going to be fine. A question and comment I get is, oh, it just seems like all you do is work, and it seems like such a laborious lifestyle. How am I going to do this when I'm old, or how can I do this now? Okay, I want to dispel a big misconception. Oh,
I'm on the party zone.
Yeah, mister. Is that what you want to add?
I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But it's not like what it seems. Yes, you have to work at times, like, you know, in my
seasonal.
Seasonal, exactly. Like, there's a time to cut wood, and you go to town and be advantaged. You know, like when you see some wood, I have some trees spotted. It's too hot to cut them now, but I'm gonna go get them. But this doesn't have to be like 2 weeks of slave labor cutting wood, unless you absolutely need it. But once you get things established a little bit,
yep,
you got your stuff that you do a little bit. Like, you know, I got minimal. We got chickens. We don't have, you know, feed the chickens in the morning. It's pretty basic, believe me.
Yeah, and we can leave for a week at a time.
Yes, with our watering
the garden,
system.
with the watering system. Yep. With the back to eating system.
The chickens,
yep.
You give them a big thing of a couple 5-gallon pails of water and put a bunch of feed in a feeder. You can be gone for a week.
Yes.
You don't have to sit there and slave like everybody thinks, that you're just like you're pulling a plow behind your back all the time. For us, it's not like that. And if you think about it and set things up,
yes, properly,
You're not saying you don't have to work, but you can minimize it.
Exactly.
Where it's not just like, I mean, I have fun every day, believe me.
He does. We
Believe
do.
me.
Yep.
It's part of the program.
Yeah. And even like the canning and everything, you see a lot of canning videos. Canning is so easy. Once you learn how to do it, it is so easy. As you just saw, I'm dehydrating, canning, and doing fruit leathers today. And I'm making a chicken in the solar oven. Wow. You know, I'm not slaving. I'm walking around with the camera talking to you, friends. And, you know, I'll go for a bike ride later. I'll go to the gym and work out. I'll paddle. Yeah, I can incorporate this all in a day. And so when people say homesteading is hard work, it really, I don't know what type of homesteads they're setting up. But we set up ours so that homesteading is easy. And we have lots of fun. And we have lots of adventure. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it's really important that you address that when you decide to go off grid or just do this type of lifestyle. You are the one that determines how much you want to be enslaved by your homestead. It's you who makes that determination. Nobody else. Nobody else.
If you want to buy more fun things, then guess what? You got to pay the price and work. If you want to take out loans for things that aren't really necessary, then you're trapping yourself. So you got to be smart from the get-go and have the long-term plan to minimize it. You know, when you have no debt, believe me, it frees up so much. I can't even begin to tell you. And when you haven't had debt for long periods of time, like I'm talking 30 years, it makes life really easier, much easier.
So really a goal for you newbies is get debt-free. Really focus on that. And if you do decide to start a homestead, start small. Don't go gonzo and buy the goats and the chickens and you know, don't go gonzo and do that. Don't go gonzo and create a huge garden. You know, we have a huge garden, but because of the Back to Eden method, we can leave this garden and it doesn't need to be watered every day. So many newbies make the mistake of choosing the wrong garden system, or they choose a piece of property that doesn't have any water, or, you know, they make some key mistakes. And then they end up paying for it by becoming slaves to their homestead. And you really have to have that plan. And that's the best advice that we can give. Have a plan, start small, and try to get rid of that debt. And you know, and here's the other thing too I want to talk about real quickly, and I'm going to do a video on this. You don't have to have a lot of money to get yourself a place. Say you can get a trailer, you can get one of those prefab houses, buy a small anything. If you're looking at going off grid, and it's okay to take out a loan. There are a lot of loan options, but have a big down payment and be smart about it. You can use the bank's money to start your dream. You can do that. If you're going to be enslaved, start being enslaved by starting your dream. Don't put that money in a vehicle or a brand new RV or any of those entities. Put it in your homestead. That's going to drive you to be self-sustainable. Don't you agree?
The first and only loan I've ever taken out was when I bought my building for my business. And you got to remember, I was young, no experience in any of this stuff, but I just knew that if I could get this building, I could generate income for myself as a 19-year-old kid. My goal was to convince the banker guy that I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be here today, gone tomorrow. Luckily, I was convincing, and I took out a small loan. But within the next 8 years, I put my nose to the grind. Instead of just making that minimum payment, I saved money on the side. I was out of debt in 8 years. So I was able to accomplish two things. I was able to acquire a piece of property to live on and run a business and make money. So if you do the same principle to get some type of a piece of property, if you're going to be making a payment, I mean, come on. People make payments on stupid crap all the time. Get something small at least so you can have a garden and whatnot. Make that small payment. To have that property, it's worth it. I mean, figure it out. You can do it. You just gotta figure it out.
Exactly. And there really is, I mean, you got to have the plan. We have seen people try to go off grid and they have failed. And it's sad because this is a very doable lifestyle. But when you start off already in the minus, going into debt, purchasing things that you don't need for your homestead, going overboard, it makes it tough.
Grid.
And you don't, and I've said that before.
If you find that cool piece of property that has electricity run to it,
Go for it.
Don't let that
Go for it, yes.
be a deal breaker.
Yes.
You incorporate the off-grid thing later,
Yes.
but the thing is, instead of using like off-grid, we should be talking about self-sustainability
Yes,
is the
yes.
key. Independence and self-sustainability. I mean, I was hooked up to electricity for my whole life, but that I didn't fall into the trap of. I was always trying to be independent away from these things.
Exactly.
And so that was the end plan.
Yes.
Came to this.
Yeah.
But just, you know, the old homesteaders, the old farmers, they all had electricity.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't let that kill you.
Exactly. He makes a really great point. And I try to impress it upon all my viewers that you don't have to be